Hey everybody, it is Elliot from Little Punk People here, and today I'm here with my father once again, and we are back with a top 5 list this time for our favorite albums to listen to in the winter. We're gonna try and stick within like the heavier black metal, the darker music. Do you have anything to say?
Sure, yeah. This time of year, winter, is when I get the most depressed, and I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people hopefully will agree. I've been through many experiences where nothing helps to make me feel better. The only kind of music sometimes for me that works is black metal.
And also, I think this video is very good for especially this year, for how far we've come this year.
Yeah.
We had to stay positive, and now we have to get through the winter. Let's do this. And here is our number 5. My dad's gonna start first, and then I'm gonna say mine.
So for my number 5, I have Darkthrone Transylvanian Hunger. I know it's a classic. For this one, this was released in February of 1994, and it has such a wretched production. It was recorded on 4-track. Has one song I really like. I got to make sure I wrote it down so I make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Slotted I det Fijern. I'm not. This song in particular has a very sad descending guitar segment on it. Like the guitar tones on this are very cold, very raw, very low fidelity, and it just fits the mood perfectly. But this song in particular, with the melodies in there are melodies in these riffs, and it's absolutely cold album. I love the beautiful black and white album cover. This is their 4th album. I also really like their 3rd album, Under a Funeral Moon, which came out before this, but this one, Transylvanian Hunger, takes the cake just because it's just right in that pocket of darkness and despair for the winter. And I just wanted to say something. On track number 7, at the end of that track, you hear like a it sounds like played backwards. And if you do play it the other way around, he's saying, "In the name of God, let the churches burn." But this was my go-to for a long time, and it really means a lot, and it's a good number 5 for me.
That is a very good choice. You're going with a classic there, so I have a classic too to start off. It is Venom's Black Metal. Came out in 1982, November 1st. Why not have the bands that inspired the cold, that brought the cold, and inspired so many bands? Very satanic, so I had to include Venom Black Metal.
Awesome. Okay, coming in at number 4. For number 4, I have Emperor in the Nightside Eclipse. This record was released in 1994. A lot of great black metal albums were released in like the early 90s. But 1994, this came out. And Ihsahn, from this band, he is supposed to be doing a project with Nurgle from Behemoth. So we're anxiously waiting for that. But that's just a little side note. But anyway, this album to me is a pioneer of symphonic black metal. The soundscapes on this album are just gorgeous. The album cover is gorgeous. Definitely check this out. Once again, Emperor in the Nightside Eclipse. I like the reverby sound. I really like everything about this album. I like how the vocals sound like they're screaming from out of a cave, a winter cave kind of, with the keyboards in there mixed in. It just really is groundbreaking to me, especially for back then. So that's my number 4.
For my number 4, I have Outstrider from Abbot. I have a funny story from, I think 1 or 2 years ago. I was with my friends, and it was very cold out. We were out at a park. It was snowy, so you can't really do much in the snow, so it was kind of, boring. So instead of hanging out with my friends and socializing, I decided to listen to Outstrider, the entire album. The beginning of Calm and Ire of Hurricane, that soundscape at the very beginning, the gust of wind chills me. It has, when you hear that, you know the winter is coming. You know the cold is coming. Bridge of Spasms, incredible song. And the self-titled song, Outstrider, with a guitar interlude at the very beginning. I love it when black metal bands do this type of stuff with a guitar interlude. It's very beautiful sounding at the same time of being dark and evil. So I find that very beautiful. And that's why I have Outstrider bought.
Makes sense to me. Number 3, Xasthur, Telepathic with the Deceased. This is a very awesome album. I really love it, and I really feel like, especially once again listening to it with headphones, I really feel like I'm entering that realm that this artist is creating. His name is Scott Connor, and he's an American. This is an American black metal group. There are some parts on this album that have goth, dark, almost almost quote unquote emo melodies. And I'm saying that in a good way. I mean, it just really has a lot of beauty. Like there's clean guitars that are echoey, that come in and out of the songs. As a matter of fact, there's a song called Drown into Eternal Twilight. And like I said, it's clean, watery sounding guitars in the mix. And it almost sounds like drowning in a way. Vocals sound incoherent, distant, and horrific. This guy, a lot of his subject matter, as he says, focuses on astral projection, despair, darkness, death, suicidal thoughts. So if you're really feeling down, this is a way. This to me is like the entrance into feeling better. But first you have to walk through hell with this guy. This whole album, it's black metal, but I think it has a little something extra to it with its melodies that are layered within. The way he does his vocals, everything about it, I really like it a lot. Definitely check them out. They're awesome.
For my number 3, I have Vengeful Accession from Goatwhore. This album came out in 2017, and like he said earlier, this is like blackened death metal. So it's like a kind of like a mix. This is their newest album, and Where the Sun is Silent is one of my favorite songs in black metal and death metal. And Where the Sun is Silent, when is the sun silent? In the winter. Very evil, very cold. I love the tones. I love the vocals. The production is incredible.
And I really like this band a lot as well. Check out Elliot's interview with Goatwhore. And they're a really good live band as well.
Yes.
On to number 2. You ready?
Yes.
All right. For my number 2, I have Immortal, one of the best black metal bands ever, in my opinion. Battles in the North is this album. It was released in 1995, and it's their 3rd album. A lot of the songs, I think all the songs on the album, they end abruptly, like they're cut off, almost like death. Like if someone died abruptly, it's very like in your face, like that's how life is, and then you just get cut off. The drum tempos are very chaotic. It's got low fidelity production, like a lot of my picks, if not all of them on my list. And I feel like I'm literally climbing a snowy mountain in the middle of a blizzard alongside a bath for this. The wind is blowing, snow is blowing on my face, and his vocals are cutting through the wind. It just makes me feel like I am literally in a battle with them, working my way up a mountain, and he's with me, and we're trying to make it. It's a very chaotic album, and I love it. So definitely check out, if you haven't, Immortal.
For my number 2, he had Immortal, right? I have Immortal. At the Heart of Winter from Immortal. So for me, when I think of cold and winter, At the Heart of Winter was one of the first albums I thought of. Came out in 1999, and this album is in D standard tuning, if that just makes it even better. Just the darker sound, deeper, more evil. The album art is incredible. When you look at that album, everything is iced over. Gives off major holidays vibe when everything is just blizzard and cold and dark. And this album, to make it even better, was recorded in November. So I just really like this album.
Yeah, so we both had Immortal at our number 2.
Yeah.
So this is it.
We've made it to number 1.
Yes. Okay, so for number 1 for me, Taki. And let me make sure I pronounce this correctly enough. Noregs Vapin. This album has a little bit of a backstory for me. When I was still working in the city every day, I was making just enough money for us to make our bills. The commute in and out of the city, taking the bus, is a nightmare, and it's expensive. One thing about commuting in and out of the city, if anyone that lives in the Jersey, New York area, or any metro area, commuting and taking public transportation with other people, especially in rush hour every day, stuck with them, coughing, sneezing inside a bus, it's almost like torture. So the story behind this album is I would put on my headphones, and this is one of the only albums that could help me feel better, because the opening riff is cutting through. It's cold, dark, and awesome. There are beautiful melodies layered within the riffs. So when I had my headphones on, the opening riff to this song is just like cuts right through, and it almost felt to me like it's cutting through and erasing all of the chaos around me, all the people around me, and just the situation that I'm physically in, and it takes me to this other place. This album was my introduction to Taki. It was released in 2011. It's their 5th album. I think the vocals are perfect. I think there are a lot of really cool, unique things that go on in this album. I think the host, I hope I pronounced that right, He's a genius, I think. He records the music and plays most of the instruments. And he has said that hell is right here on earth and humans could be demons. And I absolutely agree. There's a breakdown in the song Du Ville Ville Velstand. I hope I pronounced that right. It almost to me sounds like a gothic rock, like literal gothic rock and roll breakdown. So he is very creative. This is straight black metal, Norwegian black metal, but he gets really creative. There's another song called Myr, M-Y-R, and it's got a banjo solo within it. It's just overall a really cold, dark, despairing record, but it's beautiful at the same time. It represents how I'm feeling, and then listening to it more and more, once you start hearing the melodies within it, it helps pull me through eventually. So that was my number one.
Good number one. Now I have my number one, Monotheist from Celtic Frost. This album came out in 2006, a dying god coming into human flesh. Just listen to the lyrics, and then you'll know why I picked this album for number one. All cold and frozen, frozen the sea, frozen the sky. Frozen is death, but I cannot die, as the snow falls. I think this is their darkest album. And then this song, Oz Abysmi Val Death, one of my favorite songs ever in general. It gets me through, like how you're saying, how whenever you're feeling down, very depressed, I just listen to this album because it's the only thing I feel. Especially that long void in Oz Abysmi Val Death. And then I deny my own desire. That just hits me right into the soul. So I had to include for my number one, Monotheist for Celtic Frost.
I really hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you all have a wonderful winter. And we thank you so much for watching. Please mention in the comments good black metal, dark death metal bands, especially black metal, that we should all check out during the winter.
I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found some positivity from us talking about sorrow, death, sadness, and cold. So I really hope you enjoyed this. Like he said, make sure you comment down below your favorites, so discuss. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.